one of the absolute best appliances that we have. When we moved in here about 9 years ago, this space right here was a garbage disposal. Now, I don't know why anybody needs, not a garbage disposal, a compactor, okay? Might as well have been a garbage disposal. I don't know why anybody this day and age, 2020 it is nowadays, needs a garbage disposal. It was something we never used, and for ages I was thinking, what can we put in there? So finally, a couple of years ago, we got this ice maker. Okay, this has been the absolute best thing that we've ever purchased. I'll tell you why. Okay, this one's made by True. We looked at a couple of different companies. There are companies that make dedicated ice machines commercially. Sub-Zero makes an ice maker. This one had a really good long warranty. I believe it was 5 years, residential. You can make different size ice. You can change the color. As silly as this is, my kids like this. You can change the color of the lighting in here. Now they make a stainless steel model, which is the same inner workings, but the outside is stainless. And since that's our refrigerator over there, and it's not stainless, it's got the cabinets, I figured, why are we gonna have one stainless steel thing? Now, the only downside is it requires this proprietary cartridge to run, and I want to say the cartridge is about $40 or $50, and it's once a year you have to buy one. It gives you a notice. I think it might even shut off. The ice is clear. I don't know if you can see that. So the way a clear ice maker works is different than an ice maker inside of your refrigerator. A clear ice maker constantly sprays water. It's like a crazy process. There's a pump that sprays water. There are stainless steel molds that are upside down, and it sprays, and it's almost like an icicle. The water runs and runs and drips, and it creates this, and then it heats up the stainless steel and it throws it down into here. And something I didn't realize, this runs 24/7, 365, and they tend to break quite a bit. So you want to get something with the longest warranty you can. And we've had this now for two years. It's been really good. It did have one issue when we first got it within the first year, and I contacted True. I contacted them over the internet, and it was almost like I had my own agent. The person who I was dealing with was so great. He told me what to look for. He gave me a couple of tips on what to do. I got back to him, and he said, okay, it sounds like something's not right with it. Let me put you in touch with the service people. The service people had somebody come out from the place I bought it, actually, and they had a brand new part with them. They said they redesigned this particular part of it, and they replaced it, and it's been flawless ever since. You have to clean it at least once a year, and it's a full cleaning cycle. And the only other issue is scale will kill an ice maker. So if you have a very high mineral content in the water where you live, like we do, we have well water, you're done. So what I did was, the first thing I did was test the water, and we have like 450 parts per million of dissolved mineral. And we even have a water softener, so that's putting in sodium chloride also. So let me show you. I installed actually a couple of filters in the basement for this thing, and so far I'm still on the first set of filters, and it's been 2 years. So let me show you. I apologize for the mess down here, but because we have hard well water, I installed a reverse osmosis filter. So the water comes from our well, comes into here, and the way a reverse osmosis filter works, this one has 3 stages, and then there's the membrane, and you can buy differing amounts of how much wastewater it produces per gallon of reverse osmosis water. So anyway, there's 3-to-1, 4-to-1, that's a whole nother story. So I have reverse osmosis, then the water goes into this Pentair Everpure, which is made for ice machines. Okay, so I have these two filters, then there's the filter that's in the machine, and then the water gets stored in this storage tank over here. So this is small. I want to say maybe this is like 20 gallons. And this is the same as a well pressure tank. It fills up, it pressurizes. Right now it's at 40 PSI. And the water, the ice maker is constantly calling for water. And it gets pumped up. And I have actually an auxiliary pump over here. I mean, I guess now that I'm looking at it, it wasn't the easiest thing, but it was something I enjoyed. It was fun researching this stuff. So, and this was the original water line from our freezer, from the ice maker. So I just, cut that off. I installed everything. It comes in from the water line, pressurizes it, and then it sends it up to the ice maker. Now I drilled, I'll show you where it is. Up above this black right here is where the ice maker is. So the supply line feeds into the back of the ice maker right there, along with electricity. There's also, the thing about an ice maker is it's constantly making ice, and the ice is constantly melting. I didn't realize this. So in your freezer, you have it maybe an ice maker for your refrigerator freezer. It makes ice, and the freezer is 0 degrees, and the ice stays there until you use it, and then it makes more ice. What happens with one of these ice makers is it's not a freezer. It's insulated, but it's not a freezer. So it makes ice, and then the ice melts, and then it makes more ice, and that ice melts. It's a constant cycle of melting ice and making ice, and melting ice and making ice, and it runs 24/7, 365. We didn't see any difference in the cost for electricity, just so you know, but it's constantly running. So we needed a drain. Okay, so some of these ice makers you have to buy a separate pump to pump the water, or you can have a gravity drain. It's upstairs, but there's no drain right there. So this white tubing right there there's a pump built into this particular true ice maker. So the water gets pumped along this white tube here, and I drilled through the joist here, brought it across here, down that way, and I tied it in. Fortunately, when you have a water softener and you have a well water, you need to have a waste area. So in here, we get the water softener, I want to call it like waste. The black line right there is the reverse osmosis membrane that's constantly throwing off waste, and the white one is the melting ice from the ice maker. So there's a lot going on. However, if you don't mind a lot going on, it is absolutely 100% great ice. It's like restaurant quality. I was thinking about getting the ones that crush it and make little teeny pieces to eat. You know, those things break all the time. So the idea was something that doesn't break very often. You don't need, if you have municipal water, you don't need all those extra filters. It's just because we live out in the boonies and we have our own well. We don't pay for water. I guess you pay for it when your well pump burns out, but we don't pay for water. So that's the way we do it. It's constantly running, it's constantly making ice, it's constantly melting, but we have fresh, perfect ice that I can't eat because my teeth hurt. But anyway, that's another story. So that's the ice maker, the true ice maker. If you have any questions about it, feel free to shoot me a comment, but it is fantastic. Highly recommended. Highly, highly, highly. All right? Thanks for watching.